Oh my God. I love Jimmy Butler, man. I love Jimmy, bro. I love Jimmy. This guy right here is just different, bro. I love Jimmy Butler. I cannot believe what just happened. This man right here, bro. This man is different. He put the team on his back. 56 points! How in the hell did they do this, bro? Jimmy's different, bro. Jimmy's different. Jimmy's different. Jimmy's different. Jimmy is different, man. 56 points? Oh! I'm lost for words. I can't give you an analysis today. I can't. I was so ready to talk about this game. Coming into this game, when I knew Giannis came back, I'm like, all right, Milwaukee probably has an understanding that there's a good chance they could lose this series without Giannis. I said if Giannis does not return, Miami's going to win this series. They needed Giannis to show up and play tonight if they were going to have a chance to, reclaim home court advantage and win game 4. So we get the news early on today. Giannis is coming back. He's playing in game 4. He's ready to go. I hear that and I'm like, okay, this is about to be a highly contested playoff game. Will the Miami Heat be ready to get this done? Because they have a legitimate chance to go up 3-1. And if Miami goes up 3-1, I don't see a path for Milwaukee to beat this team 3 straight times. Because they'll have to come back to Miami. And I don't think they're going to beat us there. And I think we can at least get one in Milwaukee if it somehow goes to game 7. But I thought if Miami went up 3-1, they could potentially win this series. And Milwaukee felt that too, which is why Giannis came to play. So Giannis is here, and he's playing well. Giannis tonight played as well as you expected him to coming off of an injury. He had a triple-double. He was getting his points here and there. He was making plays. I think Giannis played well, given the fact that he's coming off of an injury. Brook Lopez today had 36 points. I mean, he was just killing us down low. Just killing us down low. I'm not going to get too much into it. But coming into this game, I'll probably have to... Well, my thoughts are more collective. I might have to talk about this tomorrow, about what happened in this game, because I have some words for some of these Heat players, especially Bam. He needs to have we have to have a serious conversation about this guy, but I'm not worried about that right now. So, coming into this game, Giannis is going to play. And with Giannis there, it's going to be tougher. To start the game off, Milwaukee pretty much seemed to have control of the game. They take an early lead, and they pretty much maintain that lead for most of the game. It's just going like that. The first quarter gave me a clear indication as to how this game was going to go. And because of that first quarter, I thought Miami was going to lose. Excuse me. So if you watch that first quarter, Milwaukee was pretty much calm. They were utilizing Brook Lopez because Bam couldn't match up with him. Giannis was doing Giannis things. These guys were just out there playing free. Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton weren't really doing much for much of this game, and they didn't really do much in the first quarter. But yeah, it was really Giannis and Brook Lopez that were getting it going. But they were getting whatever they want. So while they were scoring, what were the Miami Heat doing? Miami wasn't doing a damn thing. Nobody could score worth a damn except one person, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler sensed that nothing was happening. I got to go make something happen. Because he wasn't taking shots early on to start the game. In fact, he wasn't even touching the basketball. Vincent was getting the ball, and I have to talk about Vincent too, but that's tomorrow. So, yeah, no one's shooting the ball well at all, and Jimmy decides, all right, I got to start taking it. Once Jimmy decided to shoot the basketball, oh my God, it was a sensational performance in the first quarter. 22 points. 22 points, my friend. 22 points in the first quarter. That tied a franchise record for most points in the quarter in a playoff game in Heat history. It tied D-Wade when he did it back in 2005. We all remember that. So, yeah, he was just going off, man, in that first quarter. And I'm sitting there thinking, Jimmy Butler's got 22 points in the first quarter, and we're down by nearly 10. It's going to be one of those nights, huh? Jimmy's just going to put up 40-plus points, and we're going to lose by double digits because no one else can show up and play. And for much of this game, it felt like that. In the second quarter, Jimmy only had 2 points. He didn't have a field goal made, so he went into halftime with 24. The game was still like that. It was a 7-point game heading into halftime. So, despite the fact that we were shooting poor, and despite the fact that no one could buy a basket from Miami other than Jimmy Butler, we were only down by 7. And a big part of why we were down by 7 is Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. Those two did not show up in the first half at all. In the second half, they played better, but it just wasn't enough. But in that first half, those two did not show up. At halftime, Giannis with 17, Brook Lopez with 17. I think Middleton had 5 and Holiday had 6, or he had 4, something like that. Either way, those two did not show up in the first half when you needed them to. It was literally Giannis and Brook Lopez carrying, and it was only a 7-point game. So I sat back and said, okay, we're losing right now, but it's only a 7-point game. There's a chance we could pull this off. We just have to stop making mistakes. And to start the third quarter, we're turning the ball over. They're hitting shots. We're down double digits. And I'm like, oh boy, ain't nothing coming from this. The whole third quarter just started to slowly drain the energy because they started going up by 15 and they nearly went up by 17. And I'm like, yeah, it's just not gonna happen tonight. It's just Jimmy out there versus the world. By the end of the third quarter, he got fouled and he was on the floor. And the man just stood, he was on the floor just laying there. And he was just breathing. They had that picture all over Twitter. So he was just breathing because he was exhausted. He's just on the floor resting, getting as much rest as he possibly can because he knew he was going to have to play this fourth quarter. Oh, man. So after 3 quarters of basketball, Milwaukee, who's been leading the entire game, is still leading by what, nearly double digits. I think they were leading by 9 or 11 heading into the fourth quarter. So the game is still there up for grabs for Miami. They just got to go take it. Stop making mistakes. Stop turning the ball over. And they got to make some shots. It can't just be Jimmy. It continued to be much of the same for the first half of the fourth quarter. Nothing's changing. Nothing's happening. The game continues to wind down. And then something magical happened. All of a sudden, the game got closer and closer. And this is one guy I will give him his credit because he was a difference maker in the fourth quarter. And if it wasn't for him, I don't even know if we're in this situation because Jimmy was still doing his thing. But at the end of the day, it's a team game. Somebody had to come with Jimmy. In the first half, it was Duncan Robinson. He had 9 points. In the second half, well, but not even the second half. In the fourth quarter, down the stretch, it was Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin started hitting some threes. He started playing defense. And when he started to get it going, everybody else started to finally help Jimmy by locking down. All of a sudden, Kyle Lowry's playing defense. I mean, he was playing defense for much of the game, but he was playing great defense. He stripped Holiday. He was forcing turnovers. We were getting the ball back. And then after that, Jimmy took care of the rest. He saw his team step up to the moment. He saw someone else come and help him in the fourth quarter. Someone else stepped up, helped this man, and Jimmy said, my team is finally helping me. They're stepping up. Let me close the game out. And Jimmy went off. Jimmy in the fourth quarter scored 21 points to finish the game with 56. My God. I'm lost for words. My voice is gone. I've been screaming the entire fourth quarter. It went from rage to excitement to just, I don't even know what it was, bro. I lost my voice. But man, Miami is up 3-1 against the number 1 seeded Milwaukee Bucks. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Giannis was on the court tonight. There's nothing else to be said. Giannis was on the court tonight. He played well, had a triple-double. Brook Lopez dropped 36, and they still lost. If you have anyone to look at, go look at Drew Holiday. Go look at Chris Middleton. Look how they played down the stretch. They couldn't buy a shot. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, bro. Drew, he was even worse because at least with Middleton was missing shots, but Drew was missing shots and turning the ball over. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Man. Anyway, Miami's up 3-1. I don't know what's gonna happen next. I believe Miami can close the series out, but you would assume the number 1 seed will find a way to respond. But I don't know, man. If they come back to Miami, I don't think they can win here. If they come back to Miami, I don't know, man. It might be over for Milwaukee, but it's too early to say. You could be up 3-1, but anyone can blow a 3-1 lead. We've seen it happen before. Hopefully Miami doesn't do that, but yeah, they're up 3-1. It's crazy. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. I'm exhausted. Jimmy Butler is him. If it wasn't for this man, Miami wouldn't be anything right now. He'd be so irrelevant. Thank you, Jimmy Butler, for everything you brought to this team. And I just wish Pat Riley would just bless you with some help. You know, if Damian Lillard is out there for a trade, I don't know, they were talking about that today. If you could go get him a Damian Lillard, that would be all the help he needs. But man, I'm exhausted, bro. With that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.